What's up, everybody? Obesity Prime here. I know it's been a while since I've graced you with my lovely voice in a good video, but it's been a while. But today's video is actually a video I wanted to make because I've been playing like hundreds of thousands of other people POE2. So this is going to be from one newbie to another, because I've really never played Path of Exile, how to make it through Act 1 as a warrior. So I've seen people talking easy mode and hard mode. Hard mode is definitely your melee champs like the monk and of course the warrior. Well, easy mode is your mercenary and witch and the other mages and whatnot. And I played a little bit of the range type. I just put a wand on my guy and fought one particular boss and beat that boss. I wasn't really spec that way, so it felt a little weak. I mean, now if you're going that particular way, then I guess you can. So essentially, I'm just going to give you my tips, things that I found out, things that I know are going to pretty much help you guys if you want to go this route. Again, this is just from the early game. You can always change it up later down the road. It's just to help you get through it. So we're going to start with the boring stuff first, and then we'll get to the skills, just because if you're new like me, you didn't really understand this, and it's good if you understand this. Starting right here with strength, dexterity, intelligence. Each one of these provides something to you that you're going to need. Strength is obviously, as you can see, it gives you life. So the more life you have, the more you can survive. As you can see down here in this corner, I have 502 life, 43 shield. Over here, I have my mana of 227 with 30 spared. Some of these guys are going to hit hard. You need to be able to not get one shot unless you're an expert at dodge rolling and all that stuff. The dodge roll in this game isn't even that good either, but that's what you want to focus there. But then at one point, I was noticing that I was swinging at these particular mobs and they weren't taking damage. Well, guess what? It's because I had like 9 dexterity. Dexterity has known as accuracy, meaning if your accuracy is too low, you're going to miss attacks, and that applies on mobs. So you're probably going to want a little bit of points in dexterity just to use some of the other gear as well that has little requirements, but so you're not constantly missing attacks on these stupid ass monsters, because still as a warrior or melee champ, most of your damage is going to come from your strikes here, because it's just easy to spam and do decent damage. And then lastly would be intelligence. Intelligence increases your mana pool, which allows you to spam your abilities down here, which you're going to definitely need to do once you start progressing through, because there's going to be a ton of mobs coming through, and just autoing isn't going to do that much damage to them. So you're going to have to chain a lot of spells together to deal damage. Now there are 3 different types of defensive properties, I guess you could call them, in here, and you need to put some points into these. Just don't think you're going to go offense and that's going to be all it is and you're done. No, you got to put a little bit into defense. Now here are the 3. Armor, essentially, as it says here, is reduce the physical damage you take. So when you get hit, this reduces that damage from 100 to maybe like 65 or something like that. So having good armor is good, especially as, you know, the warrior and whatnot. Overall, again, depending on your playstyle, you may want to change this up, but overall armor is going to be something that was pretty important to me. And then in the early game, it was actually the spell shield. So this particular like blue bar right here you see around the health is your spell shield, I guess you can call it, or shield. This is mostly used for like mages, and think of it like armor, so they have to break through this to get to your life. So this is something I was splitting between the energy shield. Who has it right here? Someone has it right here. So see how the shield says energy shield 18? That just increases this overall, so they have to go through more of that to get to my life. Now mages would use that. If you want to be some kind of mage with the shield, you can definitely start speccing into that. I think it was good in the early game because you can get hit, it would go down, you wait a second and it'll recharge back up. Health is a little bit slower to do that, so it's pretty good in the beginning. But now I've kind of moved over to invasion, just because some of the gear I got, like this particular helmet, 100 invasion plus all these good stats, I was like, oh, you know what, let's do that. And I've noticed too that mobs will miss me now, so I'll be standing here in a group of mobs swinging on them, and then I wouldn't be taking as much damage, just because they're missing their attacks too. So depending on how defensively you want to play, try to center your armor around that as well. And you can also pick that up in the passive tree. Now keep in mind, guys, I have not played this game before, so my passive tree looks like shit. But either way, when you're going through this, you have things like damage and, you know, armor. So I start off with some armor, 20, 40, like armor increase. Like I put a decent amount into some armor in there, and then I put a decent amount into some just increasing my melee strikes, because this is what helped me kill a lot of bosses, believe it or not, is just getting some solid rapid fire auto attacks in there. And then I did a lot of the just like these ones, +5 to any attribute, so strength, intelligence, a couple dexterity down here, because you need those. So if you need to get a particular stat in there, definitely do that. Put a little bit more in there. Started moving over here towards like some of the area of effect stuff, because that's just how it is. And also we'll come back to arm real quick. Yeah, the passive tree, you can respec it down the road. It's going to cost you gold. I think it's a little inefficient. I think it should be something like New Worlds, where you just pay a flat amount and it resets all the points depending on your level. So if you're 15 and below, maybe 500 gold. 20 and below, maybe 1,000 gold, just to reset them all, because I think it does it one by one. I don't know. I haven't really done it, but I went in there once to check on it, and it's like 250 gold for one respec. So it's to like move one of these back, so I can get this, and then I put that point in there later. I was like, 250 gold for one? Jesus. Now I got all of these to do if I really wanted to respec. That's going to be annoying as fuck. Gear. Yes, there's two important things you want to look at in here. And from my opinion on having on your gear, and that is life regeneration. You see that down here at the bottom, 3.6 life regeneration. You're going to want that on your gear. That way you're not having to spam your potions all the time. It's kind of annoying. You could just fight and then just wait a second and your life will go up. Now the more life you have, the slower it's going to be. And that's why the shield can be a little bit important in the early game, especially if you don't have gear with life recovery on it. It's gonna suck. You're gonna have to pop potions. Now there's a lot of things throughout the map, like the waypoints, checkpoints that will refill your potions. Not to mention you can open a portal to the town at any point, go back to the town, click the well, refill all your potions, and come back. So you're gonna be going back to town a bunch. I actually need to go back to town right now because, as you can see, my gear is full, and you're going to be getting a lot of gear, despite what some people may say. I get a lot of drops. You won't be getting rare drops. I only got one. You'll get some decent drops, which are the yellows, but you'll get a lot of drops of bullshit that you can turn in for cash money. And in Act 1, all those drops aren't really going to give you a lot of money. It's when you get to Act 2, you know, selling this stuff, as you'll see here, starts to really add up the gold. So I would say probably in Act 1, you may want to kind of disenchant some of the stuff. So I'm not going to get into this too much, just because it's not part of what this guide is, and I'm just giving you my tips on the warrior and whatnot. So the next thing we'll do is we'll look at the skills and what I have found to help me in some of the areas that you guys are probably going to have some problems in. So just give me 1 second. So the hooded one, this is a quest line through the main act you'll get to. He'll help you identify items, and this is where you refund your passive. So keep that in mind. Here's the well to refresh your pots and stuff, your mana. And then you could always come in here and just sell shit to them. So like 51 gold, that's like solid. Just is all trash for me. And we'll keep my uncut gem right there. So there you go. Do that, and then you run right back in and continue fighting, picking up loot and whatnot. All right, to the good stuff. Yes, I would recommend you keep your shield up. I mean, you can have a two-hander on the back end, but it leaves you pretty exposed sometimes. But the way the playstyle that I found that's helped me through this, you're going to need your shield for your guard effect. Now, I have a modified guard to where he bangs it and it does damage. At some point, you'll get that too. But let's just take a look. So, raised shield is what you'll get by having it. Blocks the incoming damage. Now, keep in mind, you can't hold it up forever. You'll get stunned out of it. So, you kind of wanted to swap between blocking and then like rolling and then running, blocking again, things like that. Okay. Next up, your mace. I found that these are the two best support gems to put on there for now. I wish the details of these support gems were better than the way they're described. Support skills out there to attach to inflict bleed, right? So when you're smacking someone, putting a bleed on them, especially the boss, is good. And then rage. See, it says support skill grants 3 rage on melee hit. It basically just increases your attack damage. Now, if you want to see everything that's underlined, if you press the Alt key, it'll highlight and you can look over it. And it basically just grants a bonus attack damage. So these two are good for your auto attacks. That's really good there. This is a two-hander auto attack. Now, problems you'll find is that mages and ranged characters are annoying as fuck. So having your shield will block some of their stuff. But if there are melee mobs in front of you, it's hard to get over to them, especially when they're hitting you. So I found that Frost Bomb is a long-range way to cast on them and destroy them, or at least damage them greatly while I'm back here. Or if I'm behind a wall, I can run out, throw the Frost Bomb, come back, and it just does damage. So you want something that you can hit long-range champions with. And in the beginning, I feel like Frost Bomb is probably the main one. You will have Rolling Slam, which, I mean, isn't a bad skill. In the beginning, it will help you, but I feel like you take a lot of damage sometimes doing it if you're not properly set up with this skill. Which moves on to our next skill, which is this Tome one, Shockwave Totem. So Shockwave Totem is like a taunt. You can think of it as a taunt. So he'll shoot it out, and once it pulsates, mobs around it will target this tome. So it does have life, it doesn't stay up forever, but it taunts them away. So I usually open with it, just so they stay away from me, and I can cast double bombs like that, and then, you know, Rolling Tide or whatever it is into it, and just do a lot of AoE damage like that. Now another one I'd kind of chain it with would be Earthquake. Now Earthquake takes forever to come up, but it does area of attack damage, and it slows them, right? Now in terms of support gems for these skills, I don't know which ones are the best, but I did found that this one's good, more area of effect damage, and you get to cast it twice, was pretty good. I don't know if any of these are good. The descriptions for these suck ass. So, and the thing is, you can spam these. You don't have to just hit it once. It just depends on your mana. I guess you can only have 2 going there. So you can spam a couple of them in a row. So, and then you can have all this AoE right here, boom, 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 all this bullshit going on. So that's that. And then the last one you're going to want to get is the Molten Blast. This is another good ranged one to get those people in the back. But on some maps, you'll be in like corridors or like little hallways. So you can pop that, do that. That puts a slow, and then you just throw this fire at them like that and chunk them. Now the other skill I have is the Resonating Shield. Like I said, it's also a block. It just does a little bit more damage and lowers their armor, breaks their armor. But it does take your mana. If you look over here on the mana side, it starts to go down. So keep that in mind. So I'll show you a little gameplay on some of these mobs that are level 20-ish. They're pretty tough. We'll go like this. Earthquake. Dodge roll. Throw a little flame on them. Put the shield up. So blocking, like I said, is to make that gap. Because you can see that Earthquake takes time to go off. So you just want to block. You want to keep them in your Ice Bomb just long enough, and then you can go in and finish them off with autos. So that's why you need the shield, is because Ice Bomb, Earthquake, they take time to come out, right? And sometimes the mobs will be so great that they push you away. We could just stand here and smack the shit out of him. And then I want to actually take some damage so you can see how good like life regen is, and dodge them. Like here's a Rolling Tide, or not Rolling Tide, why I keep calling it that. Oh, see, they hit pretty hard. So here's like a narrow corridor where you can kind of see just spamming this is pretty good. And we just stand here. Boat. And that's the way you do it. That's pretty much it. Using these I found really help. And so far so good. This is what we've been doing. The hardest boss was the Act 1 boss. He's a little pain in the ass. And that's where this AoE stuff comes in handy. Because there's going to be some points where there's just a lot of mobs on you and whatnot. And before we go, just want to show you my life regen, because I think it's pretty Chad-like. So I'm standing here, and my health is regenning. You see that? It's because my life regen is really solid, so that's why you may want that particular boost on you, because you could just stand there and wail on some of these weak-ass mobs. But there are some tough ones out there that hit pretty hard, so don't be afraid to use your dodge roll. Now, you don't have phasing through this. You could still get hit, but it's good to kind of like dodge away from maybe some attacks, or just create that quick distance. And in order to redirect your rolling slam, you actually have to hold the key down. So if you just press the key, he's going to go forward in whatever direction that is. Now if you hold it, you can move your mouse around. So it took me a minute to figure that out, just in case you guys needed to know that. So we open, get the taunt in there. Some of these mobs are annoying right here because they don't want to stand still. Oh. And then this happens, where you get trapped between these assholes. I might die right here. So that happens a lot. It's probably the main way that I died in this game, is they circle you up and then just beat the shit out of you. So again, a good thing to probably have some good armor, have some good life regen, and possibly evasion. If I didn't have as much evasion as I did, I think I could have died right there. But yeah, if you're looking to try that out, that's my overall little newbie guide from one newbie to another, how I got to where I am at, beating stage 1 and about like a 25% through stage 2. So hopefully that helps you guys. Take care. See you on another video. Hopefully I can get one out in a reasonable time frame, but no promises. Later, foos.